Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for this webinar, How CU Denver Business School Marketed an Open House on Campus. My name is Robin Anderson, and I'm joined here today by Kim Halpern of CU Denver. Hey, Kim. Morning. So just a little bit more about us. Like I said, my name is Robin, and I'm Vice President of Business Development here at Converge. I always like to ask people what their title should be based on what they do every day. I think mine should be strategist, problem solver, and therapist. Kim, tell us a little bit about what you do at CU Denver and what your active title should be.
My official title is Director of Marketing and Communications at the University of Colorado Denver Business School. Very long title indeed, and appropriate for the kinds of work that we do. Basically, we are in charge of all PR communications, advertising, website, promotion for the CU Denver Business School. I've been in higher ed for something like 15 years, so my unofficial title is Professional Bureaucratic Escape Artist.
You're one of those that wears many hats, like I know a lot of our clients are. All right, well today we're going to talk about digital marketing for events and how it differs from programmatic marketing. We're also going to dive into the CU Denver MBA event case study. So stand by for a lot of fun. So Kim, just to get started, can you just tell us a little bit more about CU Denver Business School, kind of how it differs from CU Boulder Business School, and some of the unique attributes of your campus and programs?
Sure. So a lot of you may be familiar with CU Boulder. A lot of times when you say University of Colorado, that's the only school that people think of for a variety of reasons. But actually CU is a system of 4 different campuses: Boulder, Anschutz, which is the medical campus, Denver, and Colorado Springs. And so the business school at CU Denver and business school at CU Boulder they have some similarities, but they have some very distinct features. What I would say as a short explanation is CU Boulder tends to be more of a very traditional and beautiful, idyllic undergraduate traditional school experience.
Yeah.
CU Denver as a campus is very urban. It's in the heart of downtown Denver. It's very much tailored to people who are looking for a non-traditional and urban campus experience. And so as a result, even though we both have undergraduate and graduate programs, we attract a little bit different audiences.
Right. I know whenever I say CU, everybody thinks Boulder. Yeah, so if you could just give us a little bit of background on the MBA programs here. I know there's quite a few.
Yes, so this is just the MBA programs that we have, and you can see that we offer quite a few of them. The business school actually at Denver started only as a graduate school in the 70s, and the very first program that they developed was an 11-month MBA program. At the time, it was less common for schools to have accelerated MBAs. It was one of the first in the country. Since then, they have developed this array of products that you see. The professional MBA right now is the program that has the largest participation and the largest enrollment. Part of that is because of the flexibility of the program. People can do this program online, part-time, full-time. There's a large number of industry specializations that can be used to customize it. These are some of the main points of distinction of our program compared to other programs.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on here. So let's talk a little bit about the event. There's a little lag here. So tell us a little bit about the actual event and why it was really important for recruiting.
So this is a stylized picture of our building in downtown, but it represents, I think, a little bit of the excitement and energy of the building itself and its important location, as I said, right in the heart of downtown Denver. So the building itself, we are the only school on the CU Denver campus that has its own dedicated building. The building is actually located in one of the most desirable locations right off historic Larimer Square, right off of the 16th Street Mall and Shuttle system, right down the road from Union Station, which is where all of the commuter transportation comes in from light rail, buses, et cetera. And so the importance of the building and its location, some of it is, again, because it's a very vibrant, active economy in Denver. We have these very physical and real connections to business who have donate money for the building, who sit on our boards and advisory councils, and then also that results in potential internships and business opportunities for our students. And so I think the building is really a symbol of all of the other things and connections that we know are important to our prospective students. I think the other thing is there's a lot of statistics that tell the deal is closed with prospective students based on a campus tour. I think that's heightened in the case of our building because we have so many unique features and programs in our building. We wanted to focus on this as a part of the end result of the event and just see how it played.
Yeah, I have to say it's one of the most beautiful buildings I've been in, and even the inside. We're in here right now, and it's very modern. And this next slide shows the ticker that we're watching right now. Tell us a little bit more about this. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so this is one of several industry partners that we have. So this is a commodity center that was funded through a partnership with JP Morgan. It is the only commodities trading lab in the country that can focus on trading across all commodity types. There's other kind of programs that maybe focus on agricultural or minerals or things like that. So this is one example of the kinds of specializations and education that you can get here that's very specific to industries, and specifically industries that are important to the economy of Colorado.
Yeah. And I saw on your website too, Kim, there's a virtual tour if anyone's interested in seeing more of the building here.
Sure.
Sorry, a little delay here.
So what you're looking at now is an actual map of Denver and the suburbs surrounding Denver. And so we do get students internationally and from all over the place, but the bulk of the students and the highest number of students that we have discovered are either in or around Denver proper. And so that's where we decided to focus our time and energy in targeting students for this campaign. So Robin, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So it's really important to identify not only where your prospects are physically, but also where they spend time online. So once we had a good idea of who the prospect is and where they spend their time physically and online, we can send them information about the event via social media, display advertising, and geofencing. To find CU Denver's ideal audience, we used our discovery document to identify the persona of the MBA program. Then we determined where they might spend most of their time. With the prospective audience base being about 30 and mostly male, we figured we would try Facebook, LinkedIn, and display to target our audience. So let's dive into the process here. At Converge, we start each digital marketing project with discovery. Whether we're working on marketing for a program or for an event, we start by asking a lot of questions. We learn about the program or event, the target demographics, the challenges, goals, and key information. Kim, what did you think about the discovery process, and did you learn anything about your potential students that you didn't know before?
So in our case, this was a very quick turnaround campaign. I mean, we were tasked with doing a campaign and putting it in the field in less than 3 weeks. We discovered our dean's office was concerned about a local competitor who had just recently got accreditation. They were concerned that we weren't in the field with an active campaign and letting people know we were here. So the thing that I liked about the discovery process was we knew what information we had, which was basically hard data on students that we currently have. We had a little bit of prospective student data, but not very detailed, and we had no what I'll call digital footprint of who our prospective student would be. And so the nice thing about this campaign and working with Converge specifically was they were very flexible about and understanding about what piece of information we had and what things we relied in, with the idea that as we do this campaign and then do future campaigns, we can build the digital footprint in areas where we were lacking that information.
Right, definitely. And I think one of the most important aspects of that discovery worksheet was determining the core messaging to identify the goals and challenges of potential students. We also looked into key information about your prospect and the event to help us shape the ad content and messaging. So Kim, how did you identify what some of the goals and challenges for your potential students might be?
So in our case, I think most people who work in higher ed know that when you work with people who just believe strongly in the power of word, and if you just create the right message, that somehow it will automatically result in the result that you want. So we have a lot of key messages that we have used in our more traditional campaigns: flexibility for working family, connection with business, take your degree over, a larger amount of time, work while you're getting your degree. We didn't really have any hard information or data about which of these points were actually hitting our prospective students and closing the deal. So I think the important thing for me was taking the key messages that people believe in, just from basically a popularity perspective among them, and adding data in the campaign in the field and saying these are the top 2 or 3 messages that are actually bringing people into the building.
Yeah, yep, so we put them to the text for sure. I thought another important question that we asked in the discovery process was just, why should somebody attend this event? And why CU Denver and why your MBA programs? Going through and really talking through that really helped us dial in our messaging and answer some of the questions that your potential students might be asking. For example, I know with our Facebook ads, we added content about how financial aid might be available, just based on the fact that cost might be a barrier to entry for some. So once the discovery was complete, we moved on to strategy and execution. Strategy is a key next step after discovery. We want to propose a plan that meets clients where they are in terms of budget, scope, and objectives. Creating a strategy is a comprehensive and collaborative process with our clients. We often do a little bit of hand-holding and work with people in the university who have not worked in the digital space before. But luckily for this project, we were able to work directly with Kim and another member of her team, and they were both very technically savvy and experienced in digital marketing. In other projects at CU Denver, we worked with a team that was not well-versed in digital marketing at all. So we really pride ourselves on the fact that we can breeze through any project with clients of varying levels of digital marketing knowledge. Kim, did you feel like elements of the strategy were well defined and explained throughout the process?
Yeah, so from my perspective, again, I had a leadership who wanted a 3-week campaign. And so from the beginning, part of what I told them was in order to be able to deliver on this, we had to limit who had input. And so that really, I think, streamlined the ability to work directly with Robin's team and really get something out there quickly.
Only one chef in the kitchen, right?
Only one chef in the kitchen with a few add-ons. But that being said, I think the update meetings that we had and the regular interaction that we had and being able to update the numbers, that I think made my leadership team feel very confident and comfortable that even though they hadn't had a lot of brainstorming sessions about what the concepts were and what the creative looked like, I could very quickly report the results. And with any campaign, that's really the success of it, right? That's what makes people feel comfortable, is the fact that you did something very quickly and it's working.
Right. Yeah, and being that you kind of took the reins there, it allowed us to move quickly. Yeah, so for optimization, management, and reporting, we normally do like a monthly call with most of our clients, but because we were running an event at hyper speed, as we were talking about, we were giving Kim updates on a daily basis. So we were telling her who was registering so that they could follow up on the phone and make sure that these people were going to show up. And then we were also optimizing and changing elements of the campaign almost on a daily basis. So we would always, put more money towards things that were working and stop anything that really wasn't providing the results that we wanted. This event really kept Gina, our digital strategist, busy and caffeinated. But as you'll see, it was all worth it in the end. So this is probably a familiar model to a lot of you, and this is the model that we look at when we're creating any digital campaign. For an event, though, our strategy had to shift a little bit. Instead of bringing people through each phase of the funnel, we were working within the bottom of the funnel only. People for this event either visited the CU Denver website before, or they were part of a mailing list. So they were already pretty aware and interested in considering CU Denver as an option. So we'll dive into the actual project a little bit more here. So when marketing an event, you wouldn't use common digital marketing techniques such as SEM. People are not searching for the event. They need to be told that the event exists and invited to it. So we did that again through social media advertising with Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and retargeting with email addresses and pixel tracking. Oh, and a little bit of display advertising as well. The ad content was really, really important. So one technique that we introduced was adding testimonials. When you're working with prospects in that bottom of the enrollment funnel, it's really important to share experiences of other students. We definitely saw an increase in clicks with the ads with testimonials. There's a lot going on with the ad creative process. From that discovery sheet, we're developing key messaging within the ads and landing pages. We're working day-to-day with the CU team to approve initial designs, not only on the ads, but also the content and landing pages. We're also resizing imagery for all sorts of digital marketing channels, and we're developing ongoing creative as needed. So with this event, it was super important to be creative and use imagery that seems inviting and fun. It's an event that we want to get people to after all. Kim, what was the creative process for you? As a client, did you feel involved enough, or did you kind of take the reins and run with it?
So I think for me, as a person who has a design and creative background, I like to be involved to a certain point, but again, in the digital space, what you really want is a variety of things and then weigh out what's really working. I think the advantage of working with Converge was as much as we wanted to be involved, we could be involved, but when I got overwhelmed and was working on other projects, I could trust that they were going to take the reins and follow through on the execution of the campaign. So I thought the creative process was very easy to work through.
Good. We try to keep a balance like that. So as you know, we wanted to highlight that beautiful building with real pictures in the ads. We used key terms like urban campus, and we also tried some A/B testing, changing the color of the RSVP button, and then also changing the content within that button. Sometimes it would say reserve your spot, other times just RSVP. I know marketing and design is all part of your background, Kim. Did you feel like the content we created was using the right tone of voice and hitting home with your audience?
Yeah, so for the content creation, we do so much content creation within our walls for a variety of audiences. It was actually really nice to have someone else look at what we thought was workable content and then feeding us, digital feedback and metrics that affirm what a good message was and what a good message is not. And so the nice thing about this kind of a campaign is it then refines what your messages really should be and how you might change things around going forward for other more traditional campaigns. So it was very helpful for us.
Yeah, just a fresh set of eyes. All right, and so it was also really important to make sure that the date and time of the event was clear and easy to find on each ad. And yeah, here's just an example. Here you can see the test with the orange button instead of the blue. And then landing pages, these are just so vital. They have to be good looking and clear and straight to the point. We used imagery from the building as well as from classrooms. The other thing we did was make sure that the form that they have to fill out was really just 3 to 5 lines of information. The days of 28-line forms where they ask for your blood type are all over. Having short forms increases your conversion rate by, I think, 1,000,000% or sure. 1,000,000%, I'm sure. Kim, you're a very hands-on client, which we love. What was the landing page process like for you?
Well, I think from my perspective, again, I think, as a client, we were able to have as much or little input as we wanted. And so I think it was very easy to put it together. It's the kind of content that we have, but if we left to our own devices, this content would have been 3 times the amount, which would not be effective. So I think having industry standards and having people who understand what works and what doesn't work really helped make the process very smooth for us.
Yeah, great. I think these landing pages turned out really, really beautiful in the end here. So as you can see, there was a lot going on with the whole discovery and setup and getting things ready. Let's dive into the actual case study here in our digital marketing strategy. So again, based on that demographic of the potential MBA student, we decided to market this event on Facebook, Twitter, Google Remarketing, and LinkedIn. Here's just an example of Facebook lead generation ads. These were huge and accounted for a ton of our RSVPs. By autofilling lead generation forms with user details, Facebook lead ads make it super easy for people to RSVP to an event. Here's how they work. So show your ad to users, and if they're interested, they'll click the call to action, and then it'll bring up a pre-filled form with their personal information. They can always review the information and edit it if needed. And all they have to do is click submit. So it's a really, really cool piece of technology that Facebook came out with not that long ago. Kim, did you know this technology existed in Facebook before working with us?
No, I have to say we have used social media and specifically Facebook ads in the past, but we don't have anyone on staff who's dedicated to social media. It's kind of part of all of our jobs, which is, again, very typical for a higher education environment.
Yeah.
So I think learning about it and learning how they work was very interesting for us. It's something that we can apply towards future projects, but we were not aware that the Informat was available.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to set up too, and I know that there's a blog on our website if anyone's interested in reading more about how these work and how to set them up. So we also did regular Facebook advertising, and that worked very well. So with Facebook, we're able to dial in the demographic based on geography again, interests, and other demographics such as age, gender, and household income. So Kim, you said that you've done, Facebook posts and things before, or boosting posts. Did you see any success with your Facebook ad marketing before?
So as I said, I think we've done some Facebook advertising before, but it was more small amounts of money and very rudimentary sorts of tactics that a lot of people can do. I think the power of this campaign was to do it across multiple channels, to look at the input and to retire channels or add more money to channels as we went along.
Yeah.
So I think that just doing Facebook advertising may be good for some things, but for the larger campaigns, to do a more comprehensive digital ad campaign is definitely worth the money.
Definitely, and doing that whole integrated approach where we're sending that same message throughout multiple types of channels instead of just Facebook really helped us see better results too. So we also used a lot of remarketing techniques here. We would send ads to anyone who visited the landing page or anyone who visited the program page on the CU Denver website. We also implemented remarketing with email lists that CU Denver gave us. This also generated quite a bit of RSVPs. I know I read somewhere that it takes up to 8 times for a user to take action with your ad. So remarketing really helps get that content in front of people and reminds them to click through and take that action. So this is something that we get asked often, where should our budget be placed and how do we break it up? For this event, we did about 60% of the budget going to Facebook. Because of past successes with event advertising, the platform and the ability to leverage remarketing and the prospective list targeting, Facebook was just a perfect option for us. And then we took about 30% for Google AdWords. This is where we did Gmail sponsored promotions and remarketing. We did that because of the ability to leverage remarketing and the lower cost per click in Gmail. And then we just put about 10% towards LinkedIn and Twitter. We wanted to definitely try it out, and we were only able to target prospects on those networks. And I know about 2 weeks in, we actually stopped using Twitter. So throughout that campaign, we were constantly analyzing what was working and what wasn't in terms of RSVPs and the cost per RSVP. We tested 2 different messages. One was connect to Denver's business leaders with an urban campus, and the other was come see where your education can take you. And Kim, as we talked about, it was important to kind of see what messaging was working and what wasn't. For those, we kind of had an even split, but it was still interesting to see the reaction. So the results, everybody's wondering, keeping you in suspense. So did anybody show up? We're proud to say we had about 137 event RSVPs in 38 days. I know our initial goal was, 80? And then we had a stretch goal of 100 because you and I are really competitive.
Yes.
And then 70% of the total event attendees were from Converge digital advertising. And we saw about $100 cost per RSVP. So, Kim, what were your initial expectations and what did you think in the end here?
So this event had typically been billed as an information session, and really it was just a traditional email out to people who had filled out the very long prospective student form on our website. And so the event registrations were dwindling down into 35 to 40 person range, and of course not all those people would show up. So there was really a strong need to broaden the audience and broaden the awareness that this was happening, and that's why we made the changes that we did, which was featuring it as a building tour, really focusing on the key messages and putting it out in the field as a digital advertising campaign. And so we were very pleased with the results, especially given the time frame we were working with.
Right. Everything was super speed. Yes. So, yeah. And we're really excited about doing a couple other projects with you guys and another event for the spring. So hopefully we can see the same sort of results next time. All right, well, that's all we had for the webinar. We're going to get to your questions here in just a few minutes. I see a lot coming in. But while we're kind of looking through those, just want to remind everybody about our Converge 2017 Inbound Marketing and Recruitment Conference for Higher Education. This year it's going to be in Palm Springs, and it's going to be a ton of fun. For those of you who were with us in New Orleans last year, you know what you're in for. It's a lot of great speakers, a lot of great interactive sessions on marketing and higher education, and then of course some good parties because we are Converge and that's what we do. So this is on our website if you want more information, and hopefully we see a lot of you there. All right, so we're going to get to some of your questions here. Kim, what was the marketing and recruitment follow-up process like from the event?
So the follow-up in our school is very manual. At the time when we were doing this campaign, we did not have a person who was dedicated to recruiting. We actually had our admissions and advising staff member following up, right, you know, with emails on a periodic basis. What I would say is with the input and the regular input and data we were getting from Robin's team, we were still able to follow up even though we didn't have an automated system. Mm-hmm. We've just hired a recruiter, so going forward that process will be a little bit smoother, but you know, it's like with all things, whatever you have and whatever you don't have, as a school, it's important to pick vendors who can work through your process regardless of what the challenges are that you have.
Right, right. And okay, a lot of people are asking this question, and you don't have to share if you don't want to, but I'm going to ask. What was the total cost of hosting this event? So like everything from digital marketing, or you think about 35,000?
35,000 is my best recollection. I'm pricing out about 10 other projects right at the moment. So, so my mind is racing from the ones that we did, but
and that includes like the, I don't know if you guys provide like drinks and the actual night itself and everything.
Yeah, so there is some cost to putting on the event itself, but that's the budget that I'm thinking was allocated for it.
Yeah. And do you know if any students were enrolled from the event, or do we not have that data yet?
So I think that we had a number around 20 who were admitted, but what we don't know is if they're enrolled.
Oh, gotcha.
So we have the process where people are admitted, but then we have to wait and see if they actually physically enrolled.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll dig in on that a little bit more, but 20 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Lots of questions here. How does this ad spend compare to overall spending? I know that you kind of have just a bunch going on at all times, so.
So I'm thinking the question, ad spend compared to other advertising spending within my department, that's the question I'll answer. If that's not it, then somebody else can reason it. So basically, CU Denver in general has not allocated a lot of money to advertising until the last 2 years. That's at the university level. At the school level, it's probably only been in the last 2 years that I've been able to advocate for and get some money to put towards regular campaigns. Mm-hmm. And so this is, again, my experience with higher ed is one of these things where you have to build the message for how important it is. The ability to show results in recruiting becomes crucial for being able to get more and more budget dollars towards doing this. So what I would say is the results of this campaign has been given me the ability for this current year budget, which has started July 1st, to be able to advocate for and secure funding to do future campaigns of this type.
Right. Great. Thank you. Another question is, what is the timeline for discovery process for Converge? So the timeline is usually not 2 or 3 weeks, which is what we did in this case. We usually like to have about 2 months to do full discovery. In this question, they're also asking for cost of a single degree or focus for a particular project. our pricing is based on hours that we put in, so it's definitely different for every project, as each program and every school has different needs. But we're able to get you guys pricing turned around within the same day usually. So just reach out to us if you have a potential project you want to discuss. Let's see. It's fun getting all these questions in here. So what's the optimal time to launch a campaign in advance of this kind of event? That's a great question. I think right now we're talking about an event that's going to happen in what, May or April? So that's nice. I mean, the more time is always the better. But again, I think, 1 month notice is all we would need, but 2 months would be nice next time.
Well, I think the thing from my perspective too is, this was a last minute thing, and it was a proof point to build other future campaigns that are planned more in advance. So for example, I mean, every school has their recruitment cycle, and we know that we're going to do these kinds of information sessions, at a certain time every fall and a certain time every spring.
Right.
So what this gives us the ability to do is to take what we did, refine it, and then reapply it a little more in advance towards a known cycle over a period of time. And it simplifies the prep process, and it simplifies putting the campaign in the field.
Right, yep. Yeah, there's definitely a way to kind of plan for these ahead of time now that we kind of know the process. All right, well, thank you guys so much for your questions and for your time today. It was really great to kind of go through this again and read through all of your questions here. If you want to discuss your project, or if you have questions about the webinar today, my email address is up there, robin@convergeconsulting.org. If you have any questions for Kim or any feedback on our webinar at all, just email me there and I'll send information over to Kim. But thanks so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody.